Welcome back to Dog Tickers, where we really dig deep into those earnings calls so you don't have to. Today we're diving into Tyson Foods Q4 2024 earnings call.
Yeah, got the transcript right here, hot off the presses, and the market's buzzing too. Looks like Tyson Foods is having themselves a moment.
Okay, so this wasn't just any good year, right? This was a great year for Tyson Foods. Operating income nearly doubled, and that's their profit from their core business operations. What's driving all this success?
Well, the key here is that Tyson Foods is they're kind of shifting gears. Instead of just selling us basic meat products, they're going all in on these branded value-added products. Think about it, like you're more likely to grab a Jimmy Dean breakfast sandwich off the shelf than just like a plain old package of pork.
Yeah, definitely. So they're moving beyond just being a meat supplier, almost like they're becoming more of a food brand.
Exactly, and it's a strategy that seems to be working. If you if you look at these numbers.
Yeah. Speaking of working, let's talk chicken. Their chicken business is doing incredibly well. They were projecting an operating income of around $700 million.
Mm-hmm.
Did they hit that target?
Oh, they didn't just hit it; they blew past it. Over $1 billion in operating income from their chicken business.
Wow. Okay, so what's the secret sauce behind all this growth?
Well, it's a few things. They've really gotten good at being efficient, meaning they're, producing more while keeping costs down, but also they're laser focused on like what we actually care about as consumers, right? Like quality, new, exciting products, even like eye-catching packaging. Think about those spicy chicken honey biscuits they just launched. Have you seen those in the grocery store?
Yeah. The packaging is really, really something else, and they're definitely popular in my local supermarket.
And that's exactly what Tyson wants,
yeah.
Right? They're thinking about the whole experience from the farm to, your plate.
Okay, so now let's talk beef. Looks like it's been a bit rougher for them in that market.
Yeah, beef has been a tough one. Rebuilding cattle herds has been slower than everyone thought it would be, so prices are higher. That affects, well, everyone, really, producers and consumers. It's really a classic case of supply and demand.
Okay, so how is Tyson dealing with this? How are they navigating this beef market?
They're adapting. They're focusing on areas where demand is still high, like ground beef. And they're offering more convenient options like preseason stuff. So basically they're finding ways to give us more, even with a tough market.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now their prepared food segment, that's where we see all those ready to eat meals and snacks, right?
Yeah, exactly. And this segment is it's exploding for Tyson. Huge growth here. And I think it's because of two things: efficiency and smart product launches. Like those Jimmy Dean griddle cakes they put out a while back. Those were pretty big.
Oh yeah, those were a hit in my house too.
See, yeah. They get it. They know what people want. I bet we'll see a lot more of that. A lot more innovation like that from Tyson in the future.
So Tyson's clearly focused on efficiency and innovation, and they're all about those high value branded products.
Yeah.
But to get this efficient, they've had to make some tough choices, haven't they?
They have. Tyson's been closing down some of their older plants, the ones that weren't as profitable. Makes sense from a business point of view, but it does, of course, affect the people and the communities where those plants are.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that behind all these these big numbers, there are real people. So it looks like Tyson is they're really making sure that the plants they do have are performing at a really high level. It's all about optimizing their operations for maximum efficiency and profit. Tough decisions, but probably necessary for their future success, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of future success, before we jump into our this is not financial advice segment, what were some of the big takeaways from this call that stood out to you?
Two things really jumped out at me. First, Tyson's taking this like multi-protein approach, right? Chicken, beef, pork gives them flexibility. If one market's not doing so hot, they've got the others. And second, they're not just going with their gut. They're using data, digital tools, all that to make smart decisions across the board.
Yeah, Yeah, great points. They're not just following trends. They're using data to kind of predict them, stay ahead of the game. Now, I know you're probably itching to hear what wild trade I do this call sparked, but before we get into that, got to do the disclaimer.
Of course, this is all hypothetical, just for fun. We are not financial advisors, so please don't base any investment decisions on what we're about to say.
Exactly. Don't blame us if you go all in on chicken nuggets and it doesn't work out.
All right. So disclaimers out of the way. Lay it on me. What's this crazy trade idea?
Well, given how incredibly well Tyson's chicken business is doing and how they're, really focusing on those fully cooked, ready to go products, we're going long on chicken nuggets.
Wait, so you're saying chicken nuggets are the next big investment opportunity?
Just think about it. Consumers want convenience. Everyone wants protein, and Tyson they're basically the king of this whole space.
Okay, I'm listening. Go on.
So fast forward a few years. Imagine like a world where a bucket of Tyson chicken nuggets is like a status symbol.
Oh, well, okay. Let me wrap my head around that. Okay. I see where you're going with this. Chicken nuggets, the new gold. Bold, I'll give you that, but why is this a plausible trade?
Because they're already doing it. They're expanding their production for fully cooked chicken, investing in the brand, coming up with new flavors, new products. They're not just selling nuggets, they're selling a whole lifestyle.
Okay, I think I'm starting to see the light here.
Entire plants are selling out of fully cooked chicken products. Imagine what happens when they really scale up.
They could be like the De Beers of chicken nuggets, controlling the supply, the demand, setting the price. I actually kind of like it. Bold,
yeah.
But yeah, plausible.
Exactly. But again, this is just for fun, definitely not financial advice. Do your research, consider all the factors before you invest in anything, especially something as unique as the chicken nugget market.
Totally agree. We're talk tickers here, not talk chicken nuggets, although maybe that's not a bad idea for a spin-off show.
Yeah, now you're getting it.
Okay, but seriously, folks, always do your homework before you invest in anything. Yeah, good advice. All right, let's get back to the nitty-gritty of this Tyson earnings call. There's a lot more to unpack here. Before we get too carried away with this whole chicken nugget thing, let's take a step back and look at some of the other big points from Tyson's earnings call.
Yeah. There's always a lot more to these calls than what makes the headlines. What else really stood out to you?
Well, besides just the numbers, the CEO Donnie King, he really hammered home this idea of their diverse product portfolio, like we were talking about before, the multi-protein thing. That's a big part of why they're so strong. They're not putting all their eggs in one basket.
Right. That diversification makes a lot of sense, especially now when some markets are struggling, like beef. Having a strong presence in other areas can really help balance things out. Exactly, it makes them more resilient. King also talked a lot about what he called operational excellence, which is something we've touched on. Basically, it's about squeezing every last bit of performance out of their operations.
So it's not just about selling more, it's about selling smarter. And that's part of why they decided to close those less profitable plants, right?
Exactly. Optimizing their network, focusing on the plants that are doing really well. It's all part of that drive for operational excellence. Tough decision, but it means they can put their resources where they'll make the biggest difference.
Yeah, it's like pruning a tree so it can grow stronger. And while they're pruning, they're also planting new seeds. King was really emphasizing how committed they are to those branded value-added products, which we've talked about quite a bit already.
Right. It's about using those big names, like Jimmy Dean, Hillshire Farm, not just to sell more, but to come up with new and exciting products that people actually want.
It's like they're taking those classic brands and giving them a modern makeover. Spicy chicken honey biscuits, those griddle cakes, they're really tapping into what's hot right now.
Yeah, and they're doing it strategically. King also really emphasized their focus on data and digital tools. They're using all that, big data, predictive analytics, even AI to help them make make smarter decisions and understand their customers better.
So they're not just, winging it. They're using data to figure out what people want and how to give it to them.
Exactly. It's like a data-driven approach to innovation, right? From the supply chain to marketing. It's a smart move.
And it seems to be working. Their chicken business is going gangbusters. Prepared foods are booming.
Yeah.
And even beef is, it's holding its own.
Yeah. They're not just keeping up. They're setting the pace.
Now, there was one thing you mentioned earlier that really caught my attention. Something about what Wes Morris, the poultry guy, said during the Q&A.
Oh yeah, he was asked about chicken supply, if it's going to go up next year, and his answer was pretty interesting. He said, yeah, the industry trends are there, but Tyson isn't just, raising chickens to sell to whoever. They're picking and choosing, working with specific customers who want consistency and reliability.
So they're not just looking for the highest bidder. They're building relationships.
Yeah.
That's pretty smart, especially when the market's when it's so unpredictable.
Exactly. And this whole partnership thing, it's important for their fully cooked chicken business too, which we know is, it's doing really well right now. Morris even mentioned that their new plant in Virginia, the one making all the fully cooked chicken stuff, it's already completely sold out.
Wow, so they can't make those nuggets fast enough.
Seems like it. And to keep up, they're already planning their next fully cooked production facility. That tells you, how confident they are in this whole segment and how committed they are to giving people those convenient high protein foods they want.
So basically they're building that chicken nugget empire, right?
Yeah.
More production, strong customer relationships, and they really seem to understand what consumers are looking for.
Yeah. Now, whether that actually means, chicken nuggets become the new world currency, that's a whole other story. What's clear is that Tyson is in a great position to take advantage of this growing demand for convenient protein-packed foods.
And that's a trend worth watching no matter what your investment strategy is. But speaking of investment strategy, shouldn't we remind our listeners about something?
Absolutely. Just your friendly reminder that we are not financial advisors. This is not financial advice.
Seriously, folks, don't go making any big investment decisions based on our little chat here today. Do your own research, understand the risks, and talk to a financial professional if you need to.
Good advice. Now let's zoom out a little bit. Look beyond just Tyson. What does their success tell us about the food industry as a whole?
That's a great question. I think Tyson's story really shows how important it is to adapt, to change with what consumers want. They're not just selling meat, they're selling convenience, flavor, a healthier lifestyle.
Yeah, they're meeting people where they are, realizing that everyone's busy, everyone wants to be healthy, and people are willing to pay more for convenience and quality.
And that's not just a food industry thing, right? People want convenience and value everywhere.
Exactly. And the businesses that are the ones that are gonna do well. Tyson is a perfect example. They're not just reacting to these changes, they're kind of shaping them.
They're not just riding the wave, they're creating it.
Exactly. That's a powerful position to be in. And it's not just, convenience and health. Tyson also shows how important innovation is.
Yeah, we've talked about the new products, the biscuits, the griddle cakes, but it's more than that. They're investing in research, exploring new flavors, new ways of doing things, always trying to do better.
It's like a culture of always improving. They're not afraid to try new things, and that's key for any business that wants to stay ahead of the game.
Especially in an industry like food, you gotta adapt to stay relevant.
Yeah, exactly. And Tyson is proof of that.
So adapting to what people want, embracing innovation, that's all crucial. What other lessons can we learn from Tyson's journey?
Well, their focus on data and digital tools is pretty remarkable. They're using data not just to track sales or logistics, but to really understand their customers, predict what's coming next, and make better decisions across the board.
So they've turned data into a real advantage.
Exactly. Any business can learn from that. Data's everywhere. The trick is knowing how to use it, how to analyze it, how to make it work for you.
It's not just about having the data. It's about knowing what to do with it. And Tyson's They clearly figured that out.
Yeah, and it's more than just the technology. It's about having the right people, the right team to, to make sense of all that data.
It's a whole culture of data-driven decision making.
Yeah.
And Tyson has they've clearly created that.
Yeah, you can see it in everything they do.
So to recap, Tyson's success comes down to three things: adapting to what consumers want, innovating, and using data to make smarter choices.
Those are good lessons no matter what industry you're in.
Absolutely. Tyson shows us that even in, an industry that seems traditional, like food, there's always room to shake things up, to do things differently. They're a great example of that. Well, we've definitely covered a lot of ground in this deep dive into Tyson Foods Q4 earnings call.
Yeah, we've looked at their strong numbers, their shift towards those branded products, their focus on efficiency and innovation, and how they're using data.
And we even entertained this idea of chicken nuggets as the new global currency.
That was a fun one.
Jokes aside, Tyson's story is really a great example of a company that's embracing change, adapting to a new world, and setting themselves up for continued success.
It's a story with a lot of good lessons for anyone, really. Businesses, investors, even just regular consumers.
Before we wrap up this deep dive, do you have any final thoughts you want to share with our listeners?
I think it's important to remember that even though Tyson is, they're doing really well now, that doesn't mean it's going to stay that way forever. The food industry is always changing. There are always new challenges, new opportunities.
Right. Past performance doesn't guarantee future results.
Exactly. But the way Tyson, the way they approach their business, their willingness to adapt, and their focus on innovation, that's a really strong foundation for growth.
It's their mindset that really sets them apart.
Yeah, and that's something any company can learn from.
Well said.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else we should touch on before we wrap things up?
Just a reminder that if anyone wants to learn more about Tyson Foods, they can find their earnings call transcript and all kinds of other info on their website.
Good point. And as always, we encourage everyone to do their own research, their own due diligence, before making any investment decisions.
So, are we ready to bring this deep dive to a close?
I think so. It's been a fascinating look into the world of chicken, beef, pork, and of course those glorious chicken nuggets.
It has. Be interesting to see what's next for Tyson Foods and the food industry in general.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, thanks for joining us for another episode of Talk Tickers.
Until next time, happy investing. Oh, and speaking of the future, we should probably mention Tyson's commitment to sustainability.
Oh, right. Almost forgot about that.
Yeah.
They're doing a lot in that area, aren't they?
Yeah, they really are. They've got some ambitious goals when it comes to their environmental impact, like reducing emissions, being more efficient with water.
Yeah, and it's not just about being good for the planet. It's good business. People want sustainable products, and if companies don't get on board, they're gonna get left behind.
No doubt about it. Sustainability isn't just a nice to have anymore. It's what people expect.
And Tyson's they're definitely on top of that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So they're adapting to what people want. They're innovating. They're using data, and they're focused on sustainability. It sounds like they're doing all the right things.
They are. They really are. And their performance is proof of that. Their stock price had a nice little jump today, so investors seem to be pretty happy with what they're seeing.
It's clear that Tyson Foods is more than just a meat company now. They're becoming a real food industry powerhouse.
A data-driven, sustainability-focused, chicken nugget-producing powerhouse.
Exactly, and we've only scratched the surface here. There's so much more to explore with this company. Their plans for international expansion, all the work they're doing on animal welfare.
It's a really interesting company, and we've only just begun to understand it all.
Yeah, we'll have to save those topics for another deep dive. But for now, we'll leave you with this thought: keep an eye on those chicken nuggets. They might be worth more than you think.
And one last time, just remember, this is not financial advice. Do your research, think things through before you make any investment decisions.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into Tyson Foods here on Talk Tickers. We'll see you next time for another exciting journey into the world of earnings calls.